Hello everyone. Today I will be talking about plagiarism, the forms of plagiarism, what could happen if you plagiarize, and how to avoid plagiarism. I know many of you in the audience have heard about plagiarism all through your education. In a repeated way, one way or another, you've learned about it. But there is more to what you've learned before. So what is plagiarism? The University of Oxford said plagiarism is presenting someone else's work or ideas as your own, with or without their consent, by incorporating it into your work without full acknowledgement. Plagiarism is derived from the Latin word for kidnapping, where in this case, plagiarism is the theft of someone else's brainchild, which is a person's language, ideas, or research. So, what are the forms of plagiarism? There's verbation, where you use the word for a word quotation without a clear acknowledgement or quotations. There's cutting and pasting from the internet without clear acknowledgement as well, so you're stealing just from the internet. There's paraphrasing the work of others by altering a few words and changing the order or closely following the structure of the argument, but without acknowledgement of the author. There's collision. It's where an unauthorized collaboration between students, failure to attribute assistance received, or failure to follow precise regulations on group projects. For this, it is your responsibility to make sure you are clear about what you are doing and the parts you have to complete, which must be your own work. There's also inaccurate citation, which happens quite frequently actually. There's failure to acknowledge assistance. For this, you must give acknowledgement to all assistants which contributed to the production of your work, like advice from a fellow student or technicians or other sources. And the use of material written by professional agencies or other persons. You should not use professional agencies in the production of your work, nor submit material which has been written for you, even though it has the consent of the person who wrote it for you. There's auto-plagiarism. You should not submit work for an assignment that you have already submitted before, whether for a past course or a current course, or for another qualification or another university entirely, unless this course specifically requests that. It's a no-go. So although plagiarism is all about taking someone else's work, it is not always intentional, which is called unintentional plagiarism. Sometimes you might forget to take down notes or actually be genuinely ignorant of references. So what happens if you plagiarize? Universities themselves each have their own way of disciplining student or students that plagiarize. But if a professor is suspicious of that a piece of work was plagiarized, then the matter will be brought up for investigation, and then the student will have to be interviewed. In Ocean County College, for instance, their policy number 5180 states that when such things occur, such as cheating, plagiarism, fabrication, and academic misconduct, occurs, the college has the right and privilege to the integrity of the violations and impose actions that compromise the academic values of the college. In fact, most cases of plagiarism, in most cases, they are considered misdemeanors, and they are punishable by fines anywhere between $100 and $50,000, and could end up to 1 year in jail. So how do you avoid plagiarism? Well, to avoid plagiarism, you must use quotation marks when using a quote with a reference of source cited. When information is gotten from the internet, it must be referenced and included in the bibliography. When paraphrasing, just remember that it's better to write a brief summary of the author's overall argument in your own words, and it is important to cite properly as well as the listing of your sources. It must indicate where a quoted passion comes from. So, when you compose a paper in your own voice with references, you want to include someone else's voice and viewpoints, but also give them credit for it. So don't forget to carefully proofread before turning in your paper. As you heard before, I talked about plagiarism, the forms of plagiarism, what happens if you plagiarize, and how to avoid plagiarism. So with that, I will leave you with the thought. William Ralph Inge once said, "Originality is undetected plagiarism." With that in mind, are you a subject to plagiarism? Thank you.